I still ain't realized men are waking up. They're saying goodbye to the, well, that's your job and that's what you're supposed to do.
A lot of men today are just waking up and saying, yo, I am good. I'm good on all that. I think 60% of men are just saying they're done with dating. Subscribe. Let's talk about it.
I still ain't realized men are waking up. They're saying goodbye to the, well, that's your job and that's what you're supposed to do type of bitch. And they're saying hello to the, thank you so much, babe. Come here. Let me thank you type of woman.
If we could be real for a second, and we like to be real, right? We like to have nuanced, real conversations. Just her saying, thank you, I appreciate it, did a little something for me. A little something in there was like, wow, that feels good. That feels good. Women don't realize this, and we're giving away a little bit of the game today, this morning. If you give us, this whole thing, there's inequity between us in terms of our effort. When men pay all the bills and do all this stuff, right? The physical things, the things that you can actually attach a dollar amount to, that fades into the background. That becomes something just like, yeah, I don't know, like the 1st and the 15th of the month hold no interest or value to you. It just happens all the time. It's easy for that to fall into the wayside, easy for that to fall into the background. And you just stop thanking someone for doing that. If a man is putting you up, you guys have this family together, and he's not saying that, we're not going to the extreme saying that you're not working. We're just saying something as simple as he's handling the majority of the bills, which I think is a more realistic standpoint rather than decrying the whole thing about 50-50, about I need a man to pay all the bills. No, he's probably going to end up paying the majority of the bills just because that's how we naturally always sort of fell into these things in relationships. The breadwinner should be paying a little bit more than the other person. Everyone should be kicking up because together we can get further a lot quicker, especially when we're in the Black community. We're trying to close generational gaps. We're trying to break generational curses. It's easier to break a curse, together rather than with separately, or you're sitting there expecting me to do more for you. Whatever. The point is, we understand the flip side is also true, that women's labor falls into the wayside when you come back and the place is clean. It's always been clean. You expect it to be clean. You stop thanking that person for it to be clean. The issue here is women are very sensitive to when their labor goes, when it seems like you're ungrateful for it. They're very sensitive to that. You miss it a couple of times, now she starts building her RICO case against you. Men are less sensitive to that because they become used to not hearing things like, thank you. I could not do this without you. I am grateful for what you do for me and my family. You have demonstrably changed my life. We don't hear that. Just the same way, men don't overhear, you're handsome. Men are starving for these areas in which sometimes something as simple as a compliment, as physical touch. Men go through this period in their life, from when they're children, when they're toddlers, where you are doted over. You're hugged, you're picked up. People look at you. There's physical connection for years, for 7, 8, 9 years, and then it drops off precipitously. You've aged out of that, and now it's you're entering, or you're slowly being introduced into what the rest of the world is going to treat you like. It's a cold place devoid of a lot of these physical touches. Now the physical touch you're supposed to get in your life, you have to earn. You went from being a toddler where everyone picked you up, everyone hugged you. You were loved. You knew that physically. Now you're in the desert. You're lacking this thing. Just the same way we end up lacking those words of affirmation. Before we continue, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. We're still trying to do 2 a day. Just to demonstrate that first video, we talked about this one. Now we're trying to talk to you about how you're supposed to protect the brand. So hype the video, share the video. We got some merch in the store. So when men talk about, right, we jump right back into where men talk about, hey, what are what's your love language? And women are very quick to say, don't tell me it's physical touch, because immediately you equate that to sex. Immediately you say that's about intimacy of the physical variation. No, when sometimes we're telling you we like physical touch because we don't get it. We don't get it. Hugs like that, kisses like that, holding hands like that, cuddling, we don't get that. You have this expectation that all we want is sex from you. While we do want sex from you, while that is a form of physical touch, we're talking on a day-to-day. We used to get it, and then somehow it dropped off. And this is by design. This is how society is. So of course, you crave what you're lacking. That's a very normal human response to things. You crave what you lack. You want more stability because maybe you lacked that when you were growing up. So you look for a man that has money in order to give you that stability. You don't think about emotional stability. You think about financial. How many people were there when, you couldn't afford this or that? When you had to rob Peter to pay Paul, you had to rob the gas company to pay the electricity. So now you want stability. If we don't fault you for it, we look and say that makes sense. It's the same way with words of affirmation. Men don't get that. So when you take the time to say something simple as, hey, thank you, it does something to a man. Now let's get back to the inequality we were talking about. You give a man a little bit of what he's been lacking, what he's thirsty for, what he's dying to receive, he will give out and pour back in overabundance. We get this idea, and we simply accepted it from time to time again, that women multiply as if it's this simple intrinsic ability outside of childbirth, right? Outside of childbirth, and you giving birth to multiple children at the same time. That multiplicative effect, it's the same thing. Men can do it. You just don't pour into men to see that sort of result. You criticize, you nag, you can't get out of your own way, your own issues, to see, how do I inspire this man who I profess to love, I believe loves me. I don't do anything. I expect him to do X, Y, and Z. Then I expect him to also notice and also congratulate me for the things that I also do. But if you don't recognize what he's doing for you, you don't uplift that, you don't praise that, you don't show your gratitude for that, it's only natural over a course of time, he stops appreciating what you're doing. He becomes hyper-focused on what he is lacking. You're doing the same thing over there. You're hyper-focused on what you're lacking. You don't get the attention that you want. You don't get the emotion validity that you want. But you never stop and say, well, if we can't pour from an empty cup, shouldn't we be pouring into each other's? Or shouldn't someone take the L first and try to fix this and say, hey, thank you? Because, hey, saying thank you for something like that, my point here is, when you give him land a little bit of that, because he's been lacking for that for such a long time, now that you get the overabundance, now you inspire him to do more, to work harder, longer. You give him that energy that he needs to go out there and conquer, or at least the energy he needs to come straight back home to you, and now to pour back into you. We become so used to it being a one-way street. You think a man comes into this planet, onto this plane of existence, with all the things he already needs within him. He's got all the unlimited energy, all the limited resilience. No, you have to nurture these things. Or a gender that's supposed to be the more nurturing, it seems to only be reserved for children, your own children. You don't pour into the men around you, and then you look and say, why are these men lacking? There's no fault, and we understand this. So the men that learn to tune that out, they become colder. They become more stoic. They see less use in you, in having you around, because you now just translate into something that is pouring, that is taking away from him and his resources, even his emotional ones. So when women come over here and say, hey, I'm done with dating, I'm tired of this, men ain't good for, okay. Right? Okay. If we have created a society, a dating game where we only see that each other is good for resources or good for something, I need to extract this from you. Well, if you're saying, hey, I'm done playing the extraction game, I'm off somewhere else, it's no big loss. A lot of men understand. If your woman left you today, what would you miss? This is not a gotcha question. This isn't a clip. This is for us to understand, what would you miss? Because by now, the longer you guys been together, sex has been used more of manipulation as to get you on brand, to get you to do what you need to do. But anything that's wielded in that way has to be a scarce resource. It has to increase the value by making it scarce. You like a diamond because we artificially make it scarce. If it was as common as a common cement rock or a chip on the street, you wouldn't care about diamonds. But because we make sex in these relationships, in these long-term relationships, in some of these marriages, we make that such a Scarce resource. Now the value of it has to shoot up through the roof. And I know you want it. We ignore that, hey, women want this as well. Women also step out on marriages for sex, for the excitement of this, for a whole host of reasons. But if I make this thing the scarce resource, I can get you on brand. So with physicality being gone, with compliments being gone, with recognition being gone, what would you miss if it was a clean, hey, today, tomorrow, all her things are packed. It was just you back in the house by yourself. Kids are taken care of, right? We let X, like the kids equal X, leaving out the conversation. What would you miss? The fact that a lot of us would have trouble answering these questions kind of shows you the state of play. But listen, if you disagree, let me know down in the comments below. If you see other videos on your screen, check those out. Let me know your thoughts about those in those videos, of course. And if you listen to sound my voice now, you have not subscribed, I think you should. We're just trying to build something dope. See you in the next one.